We got a Polaris here. This is a Ranger 800. Let's get at it.
This is pretty much the worst video ever made.
Napoleon, like anyone can even know that. Hello my friends, and welcome to Tom's Tinkering and Adventures. We're working on a Polaris Ranger 800, and a buddy of mine picked this thing up. Needs some stuff done to it. We're going to do an oil change. We're going to change out some axle shafts on the back of it and a few more things. This might be a two-part video, but let's do a walk around on it before we do anything else, and I'll show you what we're going to hopefully get done on this. Polaris Ranger XP 800 EFI. You can see the plastics are faded. Some interesting tires on here. Overall, it's in pretty good shape. Everything appears to be here. I think there's supposed to be some kind of a netting thing for the door, maybe. That's not here. That's okay. Yeah, probably a whole door piece. I don't know. We're waiting on a battery. I have a temporary battery in there that does start it. This thing didn't run very good when he dropped it off. It did start and run, but didn't run very good. I drained the fuel out. Got the fuel right here. Let's take a look at that if we can. You see that lovely urine color? Yeah, that fuel smells very bad. So I drained the fuel out, put fresh fuel in. It ran pretty crappy, and then it cleared up, and now it seems like it's running pretty good. I was going to do a whole fuel injection service, but I don't think we have to. I believe this is a 2012. All that information is right here. Or 2010. There it is, 2010. Can we zoom in? 2010. Maybe it's 2011. Let's see. Back here, you can see the boots on both of the rear shafts are shot. So I have those, and I have some oil. So let's get started with an oil change. This thing specs for some weird 2W50 or something oil that of course only Polaris sells, but I did a little bit of research and people are running all kinds of different stuff in here. So I think I'm going to run some 5W40 synthetic or something like that. And we got the, I guess that's the oil check, oil fill right there. That ought to be fun. Looks like it's a very small hole to get into, and way down in there somewhere, there's the filter. I can see it. So we'll crawl underneath, see if there's anything weird, but it should just be a regular oil change. 6mm hex for the drain plug. It's right in the bottom, kind of in the middle. There's a little hole in the skid plate, and then when you take the seat out, there's a plastic tub here, that little storage thing that pops out, and you get pretty good access to the oil filter right there. So we're going to remove that oil filter, let this finish draining, put the plug back in. Ideally you would replace this crush washer. Of course I don't have one. You can anneal these. Actually I might have one. I'll take a look. I have a whole assortment of these, but highly recommend replacing these. Do as Tom says, not as Tom does. RTFM, read the freaking manual, use the proper lubricants. Don't take my word for it. I'm just a YouTube guy. But we'll get this oil change wrapped up. Oil change is complete. It says right on the stick it only takes 2 quarts. I filled it with the 2, started it. I'll check it in a second here. We're going to jack up the back, take the wheels off, and get started on these CV shafts. I'm going to assume that you know how to jack something up. Take a tire off, take a hub cap off. That's a hub cap. Then there's a cotter pin in your axle nut here. Take that off. Then this was it's probably a metric, but 1 1/16 inch fit that pretty well. I removed the shock bolt. Also attaches this sway bar, or yeah, sway bar, right? I took that out so we could cycle this thing up, and then I removed the lower remove the lower hub assembly bolt, 15 millimeter. And I think we should have enough room to swing this out. We'll see. If not, we'll take the top one off as well. Now, I was able to get this out by just removing the lower, but any way that I angled that, I couldn't get this this end out of the hub. But I was able to pop the splines out of here, then feed it up and out. So you can do this without removing this upper one. So it's up to you if you want to go through taking the upper one off. Then you also kind of have to take the brake caliper off and all that. So maybe it's just as quick, I don't know. But if you've never taken these out before, all you got to do is, using the drive shaft itself, kind of push in and pull out. Kind of a little jerky motion there, yeah. There's kind of a spring clip on there that holds it in. Anyway, we got some Amazon cheapies here. I think they were about $100 for the pair. The Polaris ones are about $300. You can buy a boot kit as well if you want to replace the boot, but that's kind of a pain. So buy the ones you like. I'm going to put the Tin Man on there. This anti-seize, I'm going to put that on the splines here and the splines there, install that, and then get to the other side. It went back together pretty easily. I slid the axle end in here first, and then that had enough room to pop right in there. Hook the shock up. Now when you're working on anything, take a look at everything else around you, like these sway bar end link bushings. They're not in the best shape, could be replaced. Maybe this whole end link, because it's kind of not in the best shape there as well. And then also this bushing on the top of the hub is bad. I don't know. It looks like you can probably press them out, but I'm going to just put her back together for now because I don't want to just leave it up on here while we order parts. I'll look those up. But yeah, always take a look at everything else around when you're working on something. So you can do this by just dropping the lower. I'm going to try to show how to get this axle out if you've never done this before. I did the same thing on the on this side as I did on the other side. Remove the shock mount and the lower mount, lift it up a bit, and then push that in, and it's out. Hopefully you can see that, but it's out. And now all I gotta do is push it out of here in the hub. Struggle a little bit. This side's a little bit harder with the exhaust, it looks like, but it'll come out. Yep, there we go, right through there. And these bushings are shot on the top of this one too. So look into that, but ready to go back together for now. It's running okay. This speedometer gauge thing here was completely full of condensation, so I took the lens off, got that sitting over here drying out. I'm going to use some plastic polish on it. Let me shut this thing off. And I just took it down the driveway and back up down the street. Axles are still holding in there, so we're going to order up them upper bushings and we'll take a look at everything else. But I think that's going to be it for today. We are definitely going to do a plastic restoration video. I think my friend said he had ordered some new stickers, so that'll be fun. And maybe I'll pull the spark plugs, just take a peek at them. But that's that for now. Come around again and check out the next episode on this Ranger whenever I get the parts in and get the time to work on it. In the meantime, if you're liking my content, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down there somewhere. And if you're not already a subscriber, please consider doing so. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there and find your adventure. Adios.